Hey guys, I thought I'd teach you how I'm just essentially doing a blanket here. I thought this is getting this is this might seem a bit girly to you. This might seem a tad bit on the girl. I don't. This might seem a tad bit girly, but my question. Anyway, moving on. Essentially, why haven't we been monitoring our government a bit closer? I mean, with Trump's allegations, with conspirating with Russia, other issues. It's been in the news a lot. I mean, why did we elect a president that essentially literally has all these allegations? I mean, Clinton's allegations were a lot benign. She just lied. She wasn't conspirating with Russia. with Russia. She didn't have that, at least. She didn't have that, at least. Now, you might be wondering, why am I weaving? It seems a bit girly, doesn't it? Well, the problem is, I really don't care. It's essentially something my grandmother taught me, and she now has dementia, so she doesn't even remember how to do it anymore. So, so essentially, just suck it. Just suck it. Suck it up and move on. It's something my grandmother taught me. She has dementia, and she can't even remember how to do this anymore. She's 98 years old. Deal with it. Other why why can't we just monitor our government closer? Because if you have someone working for you, wouldn't you want to make sure that they work in your interest and not theirs? I mean, I would, wouldn't you? Speaking of, there's other issues. Other issues essentially are other things that I've heard in the news are essentially that we still haven't found those boys that were kidnapped in, I think, South Africa or somewhere. On the side topic, do you guys basically believe in ghosts and the paranormal? Have you guys had any hauntings? Let me know in the comments section down below if you have had any like ghosts or paranormal events happen in your house or your workplace or wherever you happen to hang out. Weaving is essentially if you weaving is essentially quite easy. You can tell you just go. All you basically need is a board, some screws, I have mine placed one every five, starting at having one at the end, one at each end, here and here, here and up here and here, and then after that, the middle ones are every 5 inches. If you're wondering, essentially after that, you just have to string it around, zigzag, and then just go over under like this. So if you got, it's essentially literally just really fun. It's essentially if you got hours and hours to kill and you got nothing to do, this might be something. You got tons of yarn laying around. Got tons of yarn laying around. Pink. I got this giant baseball, softball sized thing of blue. Not to mention all of that. You got tons of yarn. You might as well just do it. It's essentially really just really just fun, and it uses up time and it keeps you out of trouble. Keeps you, if you're a kid, it keeps you out of trouble. Just sitting in your room, weaving with the TV on at like 10% volume, so you don't get a copyright claim. So you don't get a copyright claim, which I don't need. I don't need any of those. At 10%. Other issue, and plus, personally, as regards to President Trump, I didn't trust either one of them at the time. I didn't trust Clinton or Trump. I didn't trust either one. Really, if there was a neither option, I would have voted for that. I would have picked that if there was a neither option. If you couldn't vote, if there was a neither option, because I wanted to vote, I just didn't want to vote for those two. Because I didn't trust either one of them, and I didn't trust, and that's fine for me because I'm entitled to my opinion. So again, suck it. So again, if you want to complain and harass me in the comments below for my opinion, and go right ahead. I don't care. I don't care. Go right ahead. I don't care. I don't care. Go right ahead. I don't care. Besides, I usually delete those comments that are essentially just complaining, like, ooh, your opinion is terrible, ooh, blah blah blah. I usually either ignore them or just delete them. Most of the time I ignore them. Most of the time I just ignore them and don't comment back. Personally, and essentially, Trump's repeal of Obamacare is essentially terrible, and a terrible idea. Because Obamacare is essentially working just fine, because all the Republicans care about is, or at least the current Republicans, all they care about is the rich. Because if you read the Senate bill for the Republican health care, all you're essentially getting is the rich this, the rich that, people that make over $250,000 a year, people that make over $250,000 a year this. Those are all the people that benefit. The people that make less than that can pretty much go to hell. Pretty much, they're just saying, go to hell. Pretty much, we don't care. We're basically taking all your health care and giving it to the rich. Because we don't care. Because we just don't care. Trying to find the right yarn. Don't care. And like I said, guys, if you want to harass me for my opinion, go right ahead. I just don't care. I just think that the Republicans' health bill is a stupid idea. Just leave it. At the very least, if you're gonna repeal and replace Obamacare, fine. But basically, don't make the health care bill benefit only the rich. Make it benefit everybody, and then more people would support it. Make it benefit everybody as much as you possibly can, and then it would support, and then more people would support it. And that's essentially my opinion. If you make the bill, the new healthcare bill, benefit everybody as much as you possibly can, more people would support it. Yeah, and I know I need a haircut too, so don't ask. I know I need a haircut. And if you're wondering what headset I use, you can use, it's essentially just a USB headset, the cheapest one I could possibly find. I gotta tie this knot. And second, the other issues that I've seen in the news is essentially that Trump's allegations in getting basically a buddy with Putin. Where's the scissors? Where'd I put my scissors at? Guys, where'd I put my scissors? I need to cut off this extra. There they are. Secondly, if you're wondering what this is, it's essentially a crocheted blanket. I don't crochet myself, I just weave, but I love crocheted blankets. I love them. You see, I literally have a ton of them. This purple one, I got a red one, I got a gray one that my deceased grandmother on my dad's side made me. And if you notice, my room is a mess. I got my college book bag over here. I got my work sack over here. It's just weird. It's essentially literally just weird. I mean, I'm seeing all this news about Trump's Russia connection, how Russia sabotaged the election, and how Trump should be impeached. Again, the evidence, I don't know. I need to see some more evidence. I would need to see more evidence than what they're what they're claiming, an actual group claiming to be responsible and showing proof that they are responsible would be what I would need to see that they actually hacked it. I don't know if they, I don't know, guys, if they've actually, if a group has actually claimed responsibility for the hacking yet in Russia or anywhere else in the world. You'll have to let me know. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if anybody has essentially given claim responsibility for hacking the 2016 election. And speaking of hacking, why don't they just go back to the old paper and pencil way? The old paper pencil, you just take up, there's a little, you get one, they give you one ballot, you go inside the curtain, you check either candidate A, candidate B, candidate C, candidate D, fold it up, put it in the box, they go through and count all of it, and that would actually make it more secure. That would make it a lot more secure, in my opinion. That would make it a lot more secure. Because in order to hack and mess with the results that way, you actually have to send somebody, an actual person that can get arrested, caught, and interrogated to mess with the results that way. And that would make it, because you basically can't hack a piece of paper from a computer. You can't. Show me a method that you can actually, if you can show me a method that you can actually hack a piece of paper, a legit method, not some fake crap. Show me a legit method that you can hack a piece of paper such as this from a computer. Show me. Because you can't. You know you can't. And that's a lot more secure that way. It's a lot more secure that way. It'll take longer to do, but again, it's more secure. I mean, sometimes modern electronics like computers are good, sometimes they're not. And then sometimes like I said before, sometimes modern electronics are good, sometimes they're not. They're just not. There are times. And like I said, I'm actually literally weaving a multicolored just blanket just to pass the time today. And like I keep saying, why aren't we monitoring our government more closely? We should essentially be actually monitoring our government. It's our right as people, if we don't like our government, to repeal and replace it with something else if we don't like how it's operating. I mean, it's our constitutional right as American citizens to essentially replace our government with something else if we don't like it. If we don't like how it's operating, or we don't like how it's operating. I mean, like I said, some people's children, as I say, as a result, some people's children. And I mean, I know Trump is a billionaire. He did promise that he would give his paycheck back to the people if he did get elected, which he did. I mean, he is a billionaire, and I can see him not needing any more money because he's a billionaire. But still, is he really doing it? Can he really do everything that he promised he would? I mean, people aren't perfect. Humans ourselves are imperfect creatures. No matter how much we want to think we're perfect, we're not. I mean, some people think they're just the perfect creatures, the God that it envisioned, but we're not. We're not. Face it, we're not perfect. No matter how much anybody says they're perfect, they're not. They're not. And like I said, guys, if you like these videos, just give it a like right now if you like it. If you'd like me to keep doing them, give it a like right now. If you want me to keep on doing these videos every Sunday where I just sit here and weave and rant. No, not rant so much to say, essentially just talk about government and news and recent events if you want more of that. Personally, and as I keep saying, people aren't perfect. I mean, nobody, not a single being in this universe is perfect. Good and bad permeate the entire universe. Just like there's good and bad people on Earth, here on Earth, there's good and bad aliens out there. Bad. Yin and yang permeates the entire universe, I'm afraid, and it's the truth. And you know it is. Like I keep saying, if you like these videos, essentially give it a like, and if you want to see me just keep on talking. Other issues I've essentially been seeing is that Russia, Trump meeting with Putin, Trump meeting with China, getting cozy with these communist nations like Russia and China. Nothing against China, because I think because most of our product essentially comes from China, and that's most of our manufacturing goes to China, which is kind of sucks because a lot of people are losing jobs because that takes away jobs from the U.S. and gives them to China, which is never a good idea. If you want jobs, if you want an economy, you got to have jobs that are available for people, you for all walks of life, from minimum wage up to your $1 million a year salary jobs. You got to have jobs available. You really do. Because if you don't, you're pretty much not a nation. To be a nation, you need money and be able to print money, have jobs available for people to actually want to move to your country, have lush natures and other attractions that make people want to move to your country. And that's what you need. Secondly, if you're actually hearing a fan, I actually have a fan right here running because it's just our upstairs AC is essentially broken. Because we actually have a repair guy coming, I don't know, in another couple weeks to repair it. The problem is we don't, I really, actually, yeah. The problem is if you guys know any air conditioning repairmen that can do it, that can repair a broken AC for like next to nothing, for like dirt cheap or next to nothing. Again, hit me up in the comments below if you know any AC technicians that can essentially repair an AC or take care of a weed mageddon issue for next to nothing. Because the guy we got is essentially wanting to charge us $1,000, easily $1,000 to repair, to even show up. $1,000 to show up, not including any his repair costs, just to show up. He wants $1,000, and he wants $1,000 just to show up. Which I don't know if any of you guys are AC technicians or know anybody that is. $1,000 just to show up is terrible. $1,000 just to show up sucks. $1,000 just to show up. Really? No way just showing up. No way your gas, your time costs $1,000. Just to show up. And that's really just getting me angry that he wants to charge us $1,000 just to show up. I keep saying my best of his own saying as a quote from the old man on Pawn Stars: "Some people's children," and that's a quote from the old man on Pawn Stars. If you've ever watched that show, that's what he says. Except he uses a curse word. He usually curses at least once an episode. The old man on Pawn Stars. If you've ever watched Pawn Stars, he just curses, and old man just curses. I mean, they all curse. What do you expect? They all use indecent language, which lucky thing most of it's censored. I think most of it is essentially bleeped out or censored because I mean, who here wants to have their kids, if their kids watch that show, Pawn Stars, to hear them cursing and swearing, using adult language, because that's what I call cursing, adult language, because kids shouldn't be cursing. At least in my opinion, if you're my kid, you're not going to curse in my house. At least I'm gonna curse in my house. You're not cursing in. You can curse all you want to outside of my house, but you're not gonna curse in my house at all. I try to hold like I said, I try to hold back, and I do hold back the majority of the time. I usually curse in my mind, but you can't curse out loud, like actually say it with your mouth. In your thoughts, you can curse all you want to. All inside your head, where I can't hear it, or the other people can't hear it, you can curse all you please. I tend not to curse if I can. If there's plenty of other words that you can use. There's plenty of other words you can use that are not curse words. The only time I do curse out loud is usually in the bathroom when I'm by myself. I try when no other one when no one is when essentially I'm in the bathroom by myself where no one else can hear me, and that's when I curse. Guys, that's literally when I curse. When I'm by myself. Where other people that could be sensitive to it and don't like to hear it can't hear me. Because you do realize some people can actually you can actually get kicked out of school for cursing. Because I remember one kid at my high school was actually suspended for cursing in class. He wasn't expelled, he was suspended for cursing in class. And I was in high school like years ago. I'm making myself, oh God, I'm making myself feel old. And I'm only 22 and I'm making myself feel old. I'm making myself feel old. I am essentially making myself feel old, which is kind of weird because I'm only 22. And if you haven't noticed that by the shirt, I love lighthouse figurines. If you haven't noticed by the shirt yet, guys, I love lighthouse figurines and really lighthouse, anything with a lighthouse on it. I love it. I don't know why, but I just do. And you don't see me complaining about what you like. You don't see me saying, "Ooh, look, ooh, Johnny, you basically love Barbies." Ooh. You don't see me say, have those words ever come out of my mouth at all before that? Probably not if you know me. Probably not if you know me. I don't complain about what other people like. If you tell me what you like, I won't complain or make fun of you. I just don't, because I've actually had that happen to me a lot. Because when I would tell people that I like weaving, and my friend my grandmother who taught it to me. As soon as I told them that my grandmother taught it to me, and they actually likely apologized for it. Before that, they were like, "Ooh, you like weave? You're a girly girl. You're a man woman. You're this. You're that." I say, shut up. Just shut up. It's not your problem. If it's not your problem, if you're making fun of it, you're the one with the problem. If you're making fun of other people, then you're the one with the problem, not me. You're the one with the problem. Because if you have the energy to make fun of other people's hobbies and beliefs, then you have time for more constructive things. You have time for more constructive things. In my opinion, you have time for more constructive things. That's not just me. Because I actually have been bullied a lot in my life, a lot. Just because I was smarter than other people, just because I was smarter than other people. And look where those people that made fun of me are. They're probably like on the street and working minimum wage job for the rest of their life. I'm in college. They're the ones that essentially failed the class, failed school. Like Kimberly Skuse, for example, she basically bullied me to no end. And when we were in elementary, when we were in 4th grade, she essentially embarrassed the heck out of me when we were in 4th grade one year. She just embarrassed me. She basically put water on the seat, yellow food coloring, and splashed my pants with water behind from without looking, and said, "Ew, Lucas peed," or something like that. And everybody just started laughing, and that was I just shuddered. That was embarrassing. I hated when that happened. I just hated it. And I actually didn't and I actually haven't and I've actually just I haven't liked her since. And when I saw her in high school and when I was a senior, I just ignored. She said, "Hey, you remember me? It's Kimberly Skews." I just said, "Yeah," and I just walked away. And I just turned and didn't ignore her. I essentially resisted the urge to essentially just go off, explode on her butt for what she did to me back then. And people still called me chair wetter from the fourth, fifth, and in the sixth grade because of what she did. Can you imagine being called chair wetter every stinking day for 3 years? At least, can you imagine what that would do to your self-esteem if you've been called chair wetter for 3 years? Can you imagine that? I would, I wouldn't blame you. I would be. I don't know about you, but I would be pretty much angry with her, furious at her for that. Wouldn't you? So I just said when I saw her at my senior year of high school, I said, you know what? When she said, I just said hi and walked on. I resisted the urge to unleash on her butt. I resisted the urge to unleash on her butt, especially since the resource officer there, was right there behind me. I didn't want to get arrested. I'm not ruining my life just for my revenge isn't worth going to jail for and getting yelled at for and ruining my life for. It's not worth it. No revenge, no matter how bad, is worth ruining your life. No matter what the person did to you is worth ruining your life over. And I've had to constantly tell myself that over and over again. No revenge, no matter what the person did to you. It doesn't matter if it is worth ruining your life over. And that's true. No revenge, no matter what the person did to you, is worth ruining your life over and going to jail for. And I've had to constantly remind myself that over and over and over again. No revenge, no matter what the person did to you, is worth ruining your life over. And these long strands here, these like long strands actually just keep tying the string together, is essentially literally nice as it produces these like little like ties here, like here. It actually produces like multicolored like sort of like bead look. It produces this multicolored like look of like small beads put in there. This when you just do the knots and cut off the excess, tie the yarn together, and move on. That essentially just it looks cool in my opinion. It looks cool. Like I said, if you're interested in how to weave, I can basically do a video on how to weave if you guys want to see that. I can show you how. If you want to learn, I can basically again tell me up in the comments down below if you want to see how to weave. If you want to let me know in the comments below if you want me to show you how to do a video on how to weave, or if you don't ever, or if you just don't want to. Ay, ay, ay. This stubborn. And you see this tension up here. That you're supposed to, this, because of all the tension, once you release it, it'll essentially be fine once you release it. It will essentially be fine once I release it. Because I've actually weaved things before. And essentially, the bigger the object, I will say the bigger the object you're weaving, the bigger the board you're going to need. I know some weaving looms that are gigantic. Because I was actually at the local, like there's actually a plantation home, like in nearby my area. Not gonna say which one, but there's a plantation right nearby, and I actually went there for a U.S. history pre-Civil War project that I was doing there. And essentially, I saw a weaving loom that was gigantic. Those things were, and that's not what inspired me. Like I said, my grandmother was the one who taught me how to do this, and she has dementia now, so she is essentially literally like she doesn't she pees herself, which is understandable for someone with dementia. Which is she forgets she actually sits on the my uncle who she lives with right now because she can't be by herself anymore, even though she keeps saying she wants to go back home. And when you ask her where home is, she's like, I have no idea. But she does know surprisingly a lot for being over almost 100 years old and essentially with dementia that far along. She knows that my uncle's house isn't her house. She basically knows that. She knows what my sister looks like, and she knows what I look like. She knows that I'm her grandson, but she remembers because the dementia is affecting her short-term memory, not her long-term. So you actually have to like tell her things more than once, and I mean more than once. Which is understandable because when you have dementia, you essentially just have to talk. You just have to tell the person more than once. I mean, I know that one of my college instructors actually has had to deal with his grandmother with had that dementia she had recently passed away. Because I remember him telling me about that. Because literally I'm about this far along, about, like I said, I still have all of that left. But the more it gets along, the more I'm liking it. The more it gets along, the more I'm liking it. The more it gets along, guys, the more I'm kind of liking it. And the more I'm liking it, the more I want to continue. You ever that's that creative urge in me that I actually literally have in me, that I just want to keep going with it. I like it. If I like it, I'm going to keep going with it. And it's multicolored. May give some people seizures, but and this wood here, if you're wondering, this wood is essentially from my old independent study project. It's just reusing it. It's been sitting down in my basement, essentially bowing from the moisture from the humidity down there. And this was the only piece that was somewhat straight. I saw one piece that was essentially literally a potato chip shape that was completely destroyed, that we had literally had to shred or just throw in the trash. And plus, did you actually know that Apple essentially is released the prices for the iPhone edition, the iPhone 8? Happen to know that? 64 gig is going to be $1,250. 256 gig is going to be $1,400. Because they're trying to distance themselves. They're trying to distance the edition from the 7S and 7S Plus, because of the fact that the 7S and 7S Plus are more for your consumer level, and the edition is more for your creator, your actually maker, your creator, your graphic designer. Is more for that because it actually has the higher refresh rate, the wireless charging. I mean, the 7S and 7S Plus 256 gig is a 7S Plus 256 gig is about, I'm guessing maybe between $700 and $800, maybe $1,000 max for it unlocked. The edition is double. That's double. 1400 is a little less than double. I mean, it's a lot more. It's over $1,000. It's more than my Mac cost me. The MacBook Air I'm filming on right now is more than what that cost me. And like I said before, guys, if you want to, you can actually hit me for being a girly girl all you want to. I don't care. I don't read those. I ignore those. It's my hobby, not yours. So, like I said, you can have your opinions if you want to, but just don't send any hate my way. I don't. If you do, I don't read it. I don't comment back to it. I just ignore it. Because everyone's entitled to their opinion, but everyone's also entitled to their hobbies and what they like to do. Me, it's weaving. You, it could be monster trucking or whatever, or monster trucking, or the whatever the cool guys do, and essentially being gangsta and all that. God, I'm making myself feel old. God, I don't think my sister's telling me that no one uses that term anymore. Because when I was in high school, it was sagging pants and saying gangster and what's up the N-word, what's up my N-word, you know what I mean? What's up? Because I think what's up my N-word, and it was just stupid stuff like that. Because almost every guy when I was in high school sagged their pants. I mean, people try to sag their pants at graduation ceremony for Mother of God. That's what I saw, and some teachers had to correct them. Say, hey, pull your pants up. This is graduation, not some Hippieville town ceremony. I mean, really, who basically sags their pants at graduation? I know it was hot. In my case, it was hot. It was like over 80. It was in the summer. It was literally in the heat of June, and it was in the middle of June, and essentially it was over 80 degrees, and we were wearing black suits and black ties, white shirts, essentially your typical black suit, black pants, black everything in the hot 80-degree heat. Plus, we had a thick wool cap and gown on top of that. Who wouldn't be sweating their pants off? Oh, I forgot. Wait a minute. Nep. My sister wouldn't. My sister wouldn't. Because she loves the heat, apparently. If she passes out at graduation, her graduation, I'm not coming to save her. Because she says she loves the heat. She says she loves the heat, and she won't pass out. But if she does, I'm not going to save her. Because I warned her. I told her it was going to be hot. I'm gonna warn her too. That she says, "Hey, it's gonna be hot," and she's looking at me like, "No, it's fine. I love the heat." Well, I'm gonna say, "I have warned you." I'm gonna tell her, "I have warned you." Don't say, "I didn't warn you when you pass out." Warn you when you pass out. That's what I'm gonna say. Don't say I didn't warn you when you pass out, and have to be taken off in the ambulance like gram number 2, which is what I call my grandmother, gram number 2. Because that's what she did. She passed out because she wouldn't eat. Because my mom didn't know that you had to put the food in front of her and say, "Eat, and you'll eat." And actually force it down her throat, essentially, because she wouldn't eat. So we were originally were here. Now we got that much done. So we literally got a nice blanket that's essentially literally probably going to be a scarf or a blanket. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. See ya.